Hi guys, and welcome to All About the Philippines. Now, in a recent video we did, which was called Married to a Filipina and Then This Happens, we received a question from Michael Cruz, which I thought was a very good question. And he asked, when does helping your Filipino family turn into enabling? And as I say, that's a very good question. And I'm not really sure if it's a black and white answer you can actually give. I think it's not as simple as that. It is a lot of factors at play in every relationship and every family. But when is it enabling and when is it helping? That's the thing you've got to differentiate between the two. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on that in just a moment. So stay tuned. Now, over the last couple of years, I've heard many different opinions on this subject and around sending money home to Filipino families. And I've heard everything from you send them nothing to you send them a little bit to you send them as much as you can possibly send to help them have a better life in the Philippines. So, firstly, you need to understand a bit about the family itself and the culture and how close that family might be. Now, if you take the Filipina out of that family and you take her to your country, it is natural that she needs or feels the need to send money home to help her family, who may be struggling a little bit back in the provinces of the Philippines. And I believe helping out the family in the Philippines is a wonderful thing. If you can send them a little bit of money each month to make their life a little bit easier, especially if you've got elderly parents who might be struggling to work, or you've got family members who might be trying to make something of their life and they might be trying to go through school or whatever. And if you can help to put them through school to make a better life for themselves so they can look after themselves later in life, and you can afford to do that, then I think that's a very good thing that you're doing. And that is certainly helping your Filipino family go forward. But you've got to be really careful that you don't go overboard and you're sending money for every single request that they're asking for. They might be asking for money for electricity, money to help with food. They might be asking for money, as I say, for tuition fees. They might be asking money for some medical costs. And the list goes on and on and on. And this is not coming from one member of the family. This could be coming from several members of the family. And if you keep on furnishing those requests and sending the money for each of those things, then you're going to have no money left at all for you. And what the family needs to understand is, yes, you might be living in the West, and yes, your wage might be quite high, but also the expenses there are quite high. So while that money might be a lot in the Philippines, it certainly isn't a lot where you are living. And something else I would consider helping out with, of course, would be any medical emergencies that might arise. Of course, I'd want proof that something's going on there, from the hospital or whatever. But, in a medical emergency, it's a very hard thing to say no to. And, let's face it, in the Philippines, if you're in trouble in hospital, then it can be very difficult to get the money in the Philippines to pay for the treatment that you desperately need. We actually paid for one of our sisters to get some medical treatment ongoing for a couple of years with medications and that, because she was quite sick, and that was well worth it because now she's healthy and she wouldn't have been able to get to that stage without our assistance. So that sort of thing, I think, is genuinely helping your Filipino family. Where it turns into enabling is when the family are not trying to help themselves. So when you've got members of the family who are capable of working, yet they choose just to stay at home and not do any work at all, and they're not trying to improve their life in any way and assist in getting money to pay their bills, then I think if you're then paying those bills for them, and so you're buying them food, you're paying their electricity, you're giving them money for credit on their phone, and that sort of thing, then that becomes enabling, because you're enabling them to live a comfortable lifestyle without putting effort into their own life. So they're not trying to help themselves at all and they're relying on you. That's where it crosses the line, and that's where it becomes enabling, and that's where, in my opinion, I think that you shouldn't be sending them any money at all until they start to try and get their own life together and start to make a living for themselves and do the best that they can for themselves. If you see your family trying very hard and it's not succeeding, then a little bit of help is warranted. But as I've said in previous videos, you and your Filipino partner need to be on the same page with this. You need to have talked about this to work out how much you're going to send home, who you're going to send it home to, and you also have to both learn to say no, because you are going to get a lot of requests, especially in the first couple of years of being married to a Filipina, and you have to learn to say no to them. And this can be quite a hard thing to do, especially for your Filipina, who has to front them, and she's the one really talking to them, and she's the one that's going to have to say no. So that's something that she needs to be prepared to do and say on a regular basis, no, sorry, we can't help with that. And they will throw back things to her like, oh, you've changed since you've moved out from the Philippines, since you've married that guy, and all this sort of stuff. They'll do that, which is going into some emotional blackmail, and that happens quite a bit. But you've got to hold firm, because if you don't, you're going to be enabling rather than helping. And in the process, going broke and having no money for yourself to live on in your country. So anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on when does helping your Filipino family turn into enabling, which I think Michael Cruz for that question. If you've got any other comments you'd like to put in below about the topic, then please do so. I'd like to hear them all, but remain respectful, of course, as always. Don't forget to like the video, share the video around with all your networks, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell to get more videos. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I appreciate your support. Take care, and bye for now.